Yeah, they side stack initiation. They did this sometimes.
Yeah.
So often though, you get nowhere. It's like if they hadn't have had a set play, they would have been fine anyway. You know, they would have got to the same position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting because that is the thing too, where like they're in a side stack and we were all like tight on them, you know, out in the side. And I feel like they could have, if they were better, they could have done a better job at like really.
Yeah,
if they were better.
But they had so much space, I guess, to attack like the deeps and stuff.
One thing about truck stop that they do really well is they do have structure, like traditional structures, but they are loose with it. Mm. They're not in a straight line necessarily all the time.
Yeah. There's general spread, like a little bit less now, but like the general spread, like the previous like 20 seconds, this was really nice. Like they had the reset behind the disc. But everyone else,
go back?
Yeah, just like 20 seconds or something, as they're kind of working up through the middle of the field, I guess. Like none of them get really close to each other when they're doing this, like going down the kind of middle, and or like really far away from each other. And they always seem to have like a reset, but then like enough space for kind of like two other options.
Yeah, I remember when this happened, when we were in this situation, I was like, holy shit, we are so screwed, because look at this. Is that Jacques with the disc?
Yeah.
It's Boxley one-on-one, even with the disc, and everybody else is behind it.
But I thought that even when they started the point that they could have done, like that's what I was saying. Like I just felt like when the point started, like they had all that same isolation. It was just kind of interesting.
Right. Yeah. I guess you want, one of the things you want from a set of players to have an immediate scoring threat, right?
Yeah.
So whether that's having the underspace is all good as well, but like I think the point of a lot of the space is so that nobody's going to help out on a deep shot if it's on.
And that's also one where I think if Aroy looks to Boxley a little faster, like Noah doesn't get that D. Like he kind of is just like, even that like kind of pointless pump in the middle. And being very nitpicky. but if I'm thinking of it from the lens of like some of the things we were talking about.
This one's interesting. It's okay. We can nitpick here. I mean, Truck is obviously they have been the best offensive team for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Felix, I remember you commented on this a little bit on one of your videos. Like Noah here for us is on Boxley. He's playing a little bit off, and that is actually not the way we tell him to play D. Sometimes it bites him because he can play too far off, but it is also what makes him great, that he's able to make up this ground and sort of bait that throw. But usually we are asking the defenders, I should have had my Epic pen ready, to
be a lot tighter, like on the outside hip of Boxley, like on Boxley's left hip.
Yeah, so we're like, my pen's still opening, but it's basically we're asking him to be right here, typically. But he would not have been able to create that block if he had been in that situation. This one, we actually had a blown coverage. Nobody was guarding Mulks, so that kind of definitely hurt us here.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where you watch it.
That makes me.
Yeah, you watch it from like, and you imagine each defender what they can see, and you're like, how can you not see that like the person you're marking is being marked?
Yeah,
it's a little bit like, it's awareness, but I don't ever blame players, because I know that the awareness doesn't get trained very much, like traditionally when people are learning how to play. So it's kind of understandable that awareness levels are down, but yes, it's very frustrating.
This situation, Kins, what do you think about this? I feel like they're doing a really good job here, spacing wise.
But this is like the balance thing that we're talking about. Like they're doing a good job spacing, but like we're doing a bad job defensively. Of like clearly they just want to go down that lane, and we're just like they're just like sprinting into it. Like I feel like a more coordinated defense would have someone in that space because they just keep. This is like that. What I was referencing earlier, like the fact that they're just able to go up that whole sideline when it's like without the disc even like swinging and stuff. Like I just think that's not
it's bad defense.
I think it could be better. Like you just could be a little more tactically.
It all happens like so quickly and so smoothly. It's hard to kind of really kind of say where the specific mistakes are.
Well, I just think it's like a structure thing. Like I just think when they clearly want to go down like these sidelines, like there should be a way, and like all those guys are clumped, like we're saying, on one sideline. Like you should force them to have to swing the disc and then try to take advantage of those numbers on the other side, rather than just like allowing them to play one-on-one in this like huge space that they've created.
I love this little sequence. How quickly Malks just attacks this space. It's so subtle. But
the triangle.
Yeah, it is a triangle here. Like this is Nanda here. He's playing in space. He's trying to help with that lane, and he just immediately attacks. And there's no hesitation for them to hit it.
You see the negative reset here. Like normally you'd have someone like run up and like get into shot and start closing down the window. But like they hang back a bit more, and that offers more space for that inside offline break. And they're all so active that like as soon as they do one pass, then the next one's like much easier. Right? It's very often like their flow will just be like 1, 2, 3, 4 passes, and then maybe halt a bit. But then when they get one, they normally get the second one, so they like initiate flow very reliably.
I'm not sure if this is actually true, but it seems like when Aroy gets the disc is when it stops the most.
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising to see that at all. That was a nice throw.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me just watch that one again. Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, what's his name in the back there should definitely be helping, but that's fucking, is that me? Fuck, dude.
It's the best kind of analysis.
Yeah, Kins, are we just single direction here? We must be. We must have just been all forehand here. Because it surprised me, Felix, that Eric here is not sealing, and this throw becomes so uncontested.
I mean, it has to be a very accurate throw. The defender's like right on their shoulder.
Totally, yeah.
But
yeah, that was
there is still
Sky Marshall.
Is it like a middle flat force or something?
It's basically yeah. We like to force back a lot, so basically our principles of defense are the exact opposite of the principles of flow, which is make things choppy.
Make things choppy? How do you mean?
So like in a traditional, single direction, one way forehand force or backhand force, teams generally they know how to predict that and are able to flow really well. So we try to use the mark to just stop those easy flow looks as much as possible.
Okay.
It definitely manifests mostly as a force middle.
Yeah, because they just will naturally kind of bounce across the middle like that in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, like, you had the triangle in the backfield there if they needed it.
Yeah,
just the number of like options that they have, like,
yeah,
it's why it never like it's hard to really analyze because it's like where's you don't have any purchase on this. It's like there's not that many like flow stop situations. There's always like something happening. People moving, options to take. Like, there's the backwards reset again, and flows generated from it immediately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the triangle on the backfield causing a threat up the far sideline.
Really, after Gus throws this one to Jacques here, Jacques has so many options. Like he throws a goal here to Wodach, but Johnny's going to be available for a little bump there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that Johnny being available is directly the result of having two people behind the disc there.
Yeah, and the spacing of triangles, I think, you always have two threats. In I am fairly certain Truck doesn't explicitly talk about a lot of these things. I think it's mostly from what I've talking to Rowan, who's no longer on the team. It has been more about I suppose different principles of moving the disc quickly, but not like let's form this specific shape.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the getting rid of trying to keep structure midpoint is more important than actually implementing ideal structure.
Here's one of their different formations. I've called it a T-stack before. Off the pull. But I think, like you said, Felix, the strength of their offense is not set plays. They don't really need them.
Yeah, those triangles are more than just two options. It's almost like two like route paths of options, because like the fact that those players are so close to you, you can then give go with either of them. One of them can pass to the other one. It's like it just branches from there, and it becomes almost exponential with all the connections.
That was so fast. Let's just watch that again.
Movement, I'm really liking Norbom right now, but yeah, their movement is just so quick.
Bing, bing. Yeah, Norbom is good.
Yeah, go back to see that outward turn right here. Okay. So thought of it when 47 catches it, couple of passes, I think. Yeah, this catch here. So if he turns to the right and stays looking at whoever threw that, is it Johnny? Then it would be a much quicker pass and much easier pop. And
this is
like just there.
This one's interesting because I agree with you. What Truck excels at, I think, and I think elite players do generally, is they're able to get back to this pass still pretty quickly. So he turns on the outside shoulder, but because they go through the reads quickly enough, like they're still able to get it. There's actually, I know you clipped this one as well. There's one of Boxley in the Machine game, which we can watch maybe later, where he also turns to the outside, but they're like so ingrained to come back to the inside very quickly that they're still able to hit it with.
Because what's nice about it is it moved the mark like to get them out. It kind of got the mark going to the outside, and then he was able to come back in.
That was a nice catch.
Definitely just when they do the side stacks, like I feel like, teams should be more out in the lane. Like those four people that are all like, even how there's like two people all clumped up over there, like, we could be more out in the lane for sure.
This is cool too. Just like this is Beef getting it off, or Jerk getting it off the sideline from Malks here, but we think of him as a downfield guy, but he recognizes space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good. Really good. Yeah, just not clearing out and just being like, well, I'm just going to be available. And then the ability to take that as well on store one.
Mm-hmm.
It should be standard. That shouldn't be remarkable, but it kind of is.
Right.
Got Elliot Bonnet cutting as well. European import.
He's good.
He is. I played with him actually. I was on the same team as him as in a beach tournament. It was his 18th birthday. It was like
18.
Yeah, it's like a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah, the fact that they're able to get these isolations off the pole is definitely frustrating upon review. Kins.
Yeah, Boxley fits this kind of movement and everything so well. There are like certain players that you're just like, yeah, they would absolutely love playing this principled, like, less structured kind of version of the game.
Look at Boxley's footwork here too. I really like this. I think I see a lot of players tend to do is they'll just continue to go into some space downfield, but he makes Nanda the defender here. I'll go back a beat. He really has to respect this, and he's giving space and being an option. Subtle things like that.
Yeah. Like move. There's this thing of like
there, though.
Being active doesn't mean like being 100%, right? So like what Boxy's doing there is just taking slightly bigger like side steps or whatever,
right?
Just to reposition, get a little bit of spacing between him and the disc, but like at the same time, he's like threatening everywhere.
And what I like about this as well, we always think about, not always, American teams tend to think about cutting in such like an American football style of like you run in a straight line, you cut at a sharp angle, maybe chop your feet. But Boxley is just backpedaling here, and he's creating a really good opportunity to be a threat to move the disc laterally. And if Nanda does overplay to this space or he gets checked onto, he can probably plant and attack this inside space again. Or, it just depends. It's just like the point is a cut does not necessarily need to be sharp angles where it's just like a wide receiver cutting on a football field.
Yeah, for sure. And the faster the disc moves, the less that is kind of like necessary, and the harder it is to do actually to time the big moves to be free at the right time in the right place. The faster the disc moves, the easier it is just to be ready for the short, quick passes. Such a nice throw, that last one, by the way, to lead Boxley.
Yeah, that was nice.
Do you guys notice when the scoreboard has the name in white and the background in white? Or do most people not notice that?
That's funny.
I know it's what, like, there's a million things to do between games, like checklists and stuff, and then like you bring the scoreboard off and it's like that, and you're like, damn, do I take it off and then change it and then bring it back on? Do I change it when it's live? Like we try to avoid doing that because people might notice it.
So Machine here plays a much different style of D than we do generally. Like they are much more switchy. And
they didn't do one switch that I thought they would, like 10 seconds ago or whatever. It was like
was it back?
No, go back. Yeah, go back one more. Click. One more.
I'll go to the beginning of the point.
No. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went too far.
Yeah, we were there. It's okay. Because if you watch, it's going to swing back to the far sideline one more time, I believe. And then it's going to be on this one. But like Desmarais is like kind of sitting here at the front of the stack. Mm-hmm. And they have this one guy out in the lane. And I think it's Bonnet who's going to go all the way. And it's like Desmarais should just like, go with him.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Just like that kind of stuff, that flexibility.
That was interesting. You could probably show that a couple of times in like slow motion if you can, because like I think Desmarais has to make a decision at some point, and I think he decides it's too risky to leave the deep space. Like I think at the moment he has to make the decision. He doesn't have eyes with the other defender.
Totally.
So he kind of looks around to check maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he could just go take that. The defender just drops down and takes Boxley. I don't know, just probably would have taken away a free look that they have.
Yeah, I mean, Desmarais does like.
I know, but that's why I thought he was going to do it. Right. That's why I thought he was going to do it, and that's I think why it maybe stood out to me more.
Yeah, I think it was a vision. Thing, and I think he made the right decision in the end. I think if he had gone with it under when he saw the under free, actually his teammate was booking it under as well. Boxley was getting free deep.
They're a little bit more coordinated together there.
Yeah, that being behind the disc when it's on the sideline, I think, makes everything so much easier. And I think you're saying like when you pass, if you pass to someone that's on the sideline, a lot of time you don't really have to go very far to be like in a good position. You can just like chill. Offering the return pass doesn't necessarily mean always cutting for it. You can just pass and then just be ready.
Yeah, something that Kins and I have talked about in this situation is the path of least resistance to get buy-in for our teams has been the traditional put your reset slightly positive if it's on the trap sideline. The mark is a little bit different here. It's not fully trapping. I don't even know what their force is. I wasn't paying close enough attention.
I think it's flick. I think they're just not going full
They're
around.
progressing here, yeah, probably. But I would love to get in the habit of having a negative reset behind the disc more often, regardless of what the force is and which sideline it is. The arguments that I usually receive from players is, well, if I'm a cutter trying to fill that space, then that person's just in my way. Like I can't cut to the negative space if there's someone already there. But it's all like you could always just reposition. You could go further negative. If the defender does happen to leave that negative reset, then he's free for the wide open pass. But that's been a really hard mold to break.
But if you go back, then Boxley is free.
Right there.
Like,
yeah.
You see how there's like basically three opportunities to be like three kind of spaces. You got the backfield, the infield, and the downfield, right? And that because that person's so far in the backfield, the reset, then there's enough space for two other options downfield. One of them being Boxley lateral.
That's a good point. Yeah, and if Cole is coming too far into that space, then Boxley wouldn't be open.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll go to the next point. Similar isolation for Jacques there. Familiar. I think one thing that they do well, Kins, even against defenses that maybe are helping more, is as the disc does get to the far sideline and these defenders are maybe thinking about helping off, like time on here is and Wodach are both attacking those defenders pretty aggressively. They do have an extra one here, Xavier.
I thought Xavier could have switched them.
Yeah, probably. That might have been the play, right?
It's like he's almost like he blocks the defender.
He was just kind of there, but like he wasn't doing anything. Like it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. There's room for improvement there defensively.
Didn't they only turn it over like once this game?
Yeah,
they turned it over twice in our game.
When you actually look at like turnovers, it's considering how much people emphasize one-to-one defense, the number of turns that are from not one-to-one defense, the ratio is surprising.
Meaning people should play less one-to-one. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the most fortuitous, the blocks come when you don't play one-to-one, or like when you break out of your one-to-one.
When you can introduce some confusion to the thrower and receiver.
The
offense, I suppose.
I mean, any number of things it does. But yeah, like the number of actual like pure one-to-one Ds that happen is I don't know, it's probably like 50-50 between that and a number of like poach Ds or switches causing a turn. Anyway, as a side point.
I agree. By the way, I like what Cole's about to do here. What happened to us in the UFA actually last year? Some teams would tend to like leave their cover to like help in lanes more often. In club, like we see Revolver do that really well. But like we would have basically two people kind of too much on top of each other. So like if the deeper cutter like a traditional vert stack, is like cutting almost too close to the whoever's underneath them, like in a lateral sense. So like instead of cutting it out wider, it was cutting kind of too vertical. And I could tell it was getting in our throwers' heads to the point of like, even if the defender on this on the shallower cutter is no longer peeling off to help with the under, like Xavier could have, the thrower is thinking that it might happen. So we would either not throw to open unders or throw it too wide of the shape of the cut.
Right. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. There's some help in the switching. To Murray at the back and some points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, if we're talking like defensive principles as well, like for me, as soon as more than one offense player is like in a small space, then the defense should work together. Like it's like a trigger, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. An action trigger. I feel like is a word I've heard in a book that I've read. One of the books. I mean, it was the Barcelona Way, which I talk about all the time.
I think that first bid there by De Marais is also a poach.
This
like
one
after the turn.
Oh,
yeah, one move. Just that, yeah. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, I see.
That one. Yeah,
that's
he's actually on Boxley or something there.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's a heady, instinctual player.
Yeah, well, he comes from football, soccer, right? Like, so he has all that kind of awareness and everything like that immediately.
Oh, and I think. Sorry to go back too far. No, I'm not there yet. I was gonna point out Boxley's footwork after the throw. We'll go to the next one. Oh, it's this one. So he turns outside but comes back inside.
Yeah, just bounces off it. See, if he'd actually faked then it might have actually cost him too much time and he wouldn't have been able to hit that short one. I know it used to be people would get in this situation and fake. Now,
yeah, you can see his head's already turning to the middle of the field.
Yeah, and he just flaps the disc to get the defender to carry on biting.
Bravo was running a pattern like this for warm-ups. This was our, what did we call it? Kins bump.
Bump flare or whatever. Or
flare bump.
No, I just want to. Whenever I watch the film, it just makes me want to go, like play and try shit out.
Yeah.
But it's all right. Just another year of side stack. Good. Just grinding away. I'm just gonna run harder. My MO.
Yeah, that's the solution.
I'll just be working harder.
Yeah.
My opponent. So no need to think about anything.
Easily actionable. More gym, more sprints, more track.
Look at Norbom here. He's doing such a good job.
Dude, he's kind of a beast watching this film. He moves it so quickly.
And then look at him. He's got Walden chasing the whole point.
Well, and also A-Roy is just free.
Yeah, it's that
situation here.
Yeah, getting ready, getting available for the return. Like he's always available, right? Ever since it just left his hand, it's been an option now.
Yeah, Norbom is, I think, a really good player for people to watch as like the secondary handler. I wouldn't call him necessarily secondary, but I think a lot of players, in a traditional sense, there's usually a secondary reset. He's a good person to watch.
Can we scooch back a little bit to where Boxy was kind of in the middle. Yeah, just there. You can maybe pause it when he's like makes that little move. So here's another thing about the spacing and the negative reset, right? Like you have when just go back like a couple of seconds, just when he's like stands still in the middle there. No, forward a bit. What? Yeah, when he's like trying to get free, but like before he clears out. Yeah, so like just around here, and like Boxy's offering that. You got the negative reset, but there's also basically space for someone to cut like down like to the sideline, the bottom, and there's also kind of pretty much space for the disc to go across to the far side behind as well. And these, just kind of occupying that space and being like, hey, if the defenders aren't really close to us, then you can just throw it.
Yeah, I'm imagining someone standing here on another team and him getting yelled at for just being inactive, standing there. I wonder. I wonder if is it as much because Boxley excels at this space, or if it's just because we're so steadfast in our ways, you know. It is amazing how often Boxley just stands still.
Yeah, I think I said in the stop truck video, he is one of the fastest players, but he's also one of the best at standing still and getting the disc. So it's two opposites.
He just sits in space. He makes people come to him.
And if they come to him too fast, he burns them the other way.
Yeah, he's too quick.
This is that, and then Machine gets their little setup though. Oh, foul! Go back a little bit, go back
one more.
Go back a little bit more when they kind of started like this initial motion. Go back. It kind of when it came off this close sideline, like before it went to Boxley. I just feel like they were very like spread out here, and it created a lot of options for them. Like just like to the point that we were talking about, like they're very spread out in like different areas here. And it gave them a lot of options. Like, I don't know, how they hit Boxley right there in the middle, and then Monroe's like there for the next one. Then they kind of cleared upfield. Then they have more people upfield now. And that is kind of when Machine got into like a little bit more of their thing.
But yeah, having that spread, and they're already spread. It's not like they're all moving into those positions or whatever. They're already there. So like they're already just instantly hittable. As soon as one gets hit, they're connected to the others. So.
Dude, Wodach is like wide open. It was wide open in the back.
That's like 100% negative reset there as well on the sideline.
It is a tough situation though. I mean, it's a tough situation.
That's a flick blade, dude. Right to Wody. Every time.
Would you? How do you feel about their spacing here, Felix? This comes back on a foul.
I think 4 people being connected to the disc is too many. Like that, it quite often it'll quite often mean they get in the way of each other. Like it's hard for any of these players to get free because they're running towards another defender that's quite close.
But maybe if A-Roy backed up and was more like that wide.
Yeah, either A-Roy or Norbaum probably.
Yeah, and was like farther away.
It looks like Norbaum kind of started to realize it maybe a little too late.
Yeah, both of them actually backed away a little bit there. Yeah, I like there being 3. I think 3 is quite good. Like when you have 3 and they're all nicely spaced, you can actually like see them all without having to turn your head as well.
Like 3 plus the thrower.
Yeah. So the thrower has like 3 others that
are well connected.
Yeah.
Where did Jacques just come from here?
It's almost like the side stack again. I think it is.
This was a bonkers play.
It doesn't matter where you throw it.
He just took that from him. That's embarrassing. Negative reset.
Totally.
Yeah. You see
I'm
that
thinking
there's.
of.
Here you go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say, there's clips of Bravo versus Revolver quarterfinals 2023 where one of our handlers, Connor Tabor, is getting negative resets on the trap side. It's something we never teach, but he does it instinctually, and it works out really well for us.
Nice. You see the Ultiworld video about the super dump.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and they noticed that even if the reset goes backward loads, then it normally comes forward the same amount, like immediately. Like
They were highlighting dig in that one, were they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like utilizing that negative space. There's a coach, Valerio Ianni, in Europe as well. He talks about this a lot. Like the negative space being actually a very powerful tool. You just have to like be comfortable trying to then use it. Like you can generate flow in the negative space very
totally
easily.
Agree.
And then the more you can utilize the negative space to your advantage, then the more the defense has to respect it, and it opens up the upfield too to just create more space. Allows you to spread out more.
Question for you, Felix, right here. So, is there a principle in Hex, and is it something to maybe think about? So Wodach here is on the sideline as the disc is swinging. He's clearing space and basically creating a threat, making sure his defender cannot just stay there, and opens up space. When I think of Hex, I don't think of Wodach clearing. I think of him maybe just staying there. Do you have any thoughts on that? Is there, or is that already built in? Do you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like creating space for your teammates is definitely something that is great in Hex as well as other offenses. And it is documented somewhere. I think in the movement decision tree, there's something where like if you're not going to get the disc, and you haven't just thrown it or whatever, then look around. And if you can create space for a teammate, then do that.
Gotcha.
And so what he does in this situation is he sees that Elliot is free, and because Elliot is free and is going to be getting the disc next, he's just like, I need to get out of there, right? Like, so it's definitely a very good thing.
This is also something we've been playing a lot of mini in preseason. There's I'll call out our good friend Rodrigo. What is his last name? Gold
Rodriguez, something like that.
Gold Rodriguez. This is a similar situation happened to him in mini where Elliot would catch it here, but Roddy would tend to still be standing here and would not have set something up quite yet.
And that's what I think too, like with the positions, but the flexibility to move around in them is like, you stand in the space if you're available, but if you're, well, and I guess maybe the discs moves, or you can make a hard cut then off of that. If they are tight on you, then you can make like a hard deep cut or away cut or something. And if you want another look into that space, like, then nearby offensive player could like that. I think that can still be a good concept, even more of a spread out offense.
Yeah, it's like if they're giving you any space, then offer to the thrower like to throw to that side or whatever. But then if they're marking you tightly, then take that defender out of take them out of the danger area. Or
I stopped it here because Elliot's about to get this off the sideline. It's interesting how often Truck gets lateral swing passes from downfielders versus other teams. And I think it does remind me of Hex. I definitely understand why people have said it looks like Truck is running Hex.
Yeah, it's there's definitely points where if they were, it would be indistinguishable essentially from what I know.
I think you know pretty well.
I guess. I want to see more teams like who are like explicitly running Hex to kind of see how they do it differently and stuff. Because like some teams do like Hex stack, we call it, where like they haven't applied the principles, but they have applied the shape, and it's a bit of a mess. It's like pretty horrible.
And that's exactly what you don't want them to do, I would assume.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. But I can't help but blame myself for calling it hex. But no, really the principles of the
I know.
first.
I feel like that's why. I actually think that is the problem. Like people, they hear hex, and they get so in love with not even in love. They focus too much on a shape, and the shape is not the important part. The important part is the principles and like certain things of just like how you're playing, and also just figuring it out as you fucking play. Like that's like the important part. Maybe you should rebrand, Felix. Call it fucking flow. Just call it like flow.
Well, that's what you had on the graphic, right? 7 principles of flow offense is what you had, I believe.
Yeah, true. Flow's like it's so whatever. It's very general though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is general. Like maybe instead of flow, it's like I don't know, quick, fast paced. I don't know. But.
There's another option, but it's one that's been taken, right? Which is motion, right? Motion offense, and that's actually quite a good name, but it's kind of been taken. And
who took it?
Frank Huguenot.
No, fucking Frank.
This is motion offense. Just like you said, he was there 20 years before us.
That's funny.
We can still use the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta cut this if I say Frank.
No.
Motion, flow. Let me.
Run and gun offense. Yeah, just fire something into ChatGPT. It'll come up with
yeah, we're good.
I think it's fine though. Like
locomotion.
Like
transit.
The name hex, I guess, has its purpose in terms of it. Everyone's learned horizontal and vertical, and so when they will hear an offense, they want to have that kind of like same category kind of thing, and it kind of helps explain a little bit about it. But obviously, there's all the
so there's some familiarity that allows people to adopt it.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's a bit scary.
They focus on the wrong things.
Yeah, how about wave offense? Kind of tough.
Fresh.
It's kind of tough.
I think flow's okay. I like
flow,
motion, obviously.
To be honest. I like motion. I kind of like wave, dude. Like things move in waves, Like wave is kind of nice.
Yeah. I mean, you want to move like water, right?
Yeah.
Waves flow. That's what I'm saying.
the Bruce Lee offense.
I think the wave could be kind of cool.
Yeah, we're going to run the wave? Let's run the wave.
Let's run the wave. Let's wave him.
Look at Norbom here. What an animal. This guy is good.
He is super good. Holy shit. Blink. See ya.
Yeah, being able to just having in your skill set, like if someone's free, that you're able to just like give go with them until you're stopped. Just gets you so
what
many
happened
yards.
to Desmarais here? Oh, he really thought the deep shot was gone. I wonder why.
That's the because that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
He seemed clap. He was like, damn it.
Look at him though.
He's all over the place.
This is pretty impressive.
No, it's sick. Boom.
Yeah.
Even though like Truck is the best equipped team to beat defenders like that, like this disrupts flow for sure.
Well, and also if you're doing it by yourself, like this is like what Felix is saying, like this dude in the back who's just like chest to chest with fucking Roy. Yeah, fucking help Desmarais out, dude. Boom. And then at least they got to throw it to like the farther away guy. Like instead he's just like fucking, he's like making out with A-Roy like 40 yards away from the disc.
Yes.
Look at him.
Or like the B ultimate defensive principle is something that Felix has touched on, like help the helper. This is a great situation to help off, right? A threatening pass to the middle that's gaining positive momentum, positive yardage. The trade-off is you give up a swing, but if teams could just get better at helping the helper,
cascading help.
It just creates more and more situations that are tough to deal with. We've definitely kind of, and I think that was the end of the video. I'll stop sharing, but keep talking here. At times, like I've literally recorded myself breaking down Mama Bird film or Bravo film and saying like, we're over switching here. And because we're over switching, now this person's trying to recover and this person's trying to recover. And then we get beat. But in a lot of ways, it's the wrong thing to say to the team because, it's correct because of the way that we've chosen to play defense, but it's wrong in that it stifles people. It's encouraging them not to help. And it's not encouraging them to like find the opportunities to help. Were you going to say something, Felix?
Oh, saying it's like kind of putting the ceiling on rather than taking it off. But yes, it is a harder thing to coach because it's a lot harder to kind of see what's happening in real time as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts,
and when it goes wrong as well, like there's that thing of like someone gets around to who's completely open, and so then it's very tempting to like throw it all away.
Yeah.
But instead, I think like it's about getting ahead of the game and on defense, preempting switches and preempting poachers and like seeing the opportunity for them, even if you're not the one that's going to be doing the poach or the switch, like just being heads up ready for that to happen so that then you can plan the next thing.
And I think it's like the main thing for like people is just like, it's not like there's one way to do things. And that's the point is like, it's not that the way now is bad or this way is better or bad or good or anything. It's just like, think about different ways that you can try things out and be open to, exploring those opportunities.
Yeah, it's awesome that you kind of have a lab out there. You have like enough teams running some version of the things that you have put out into the world that you can see what's working and what's not working and pick and choose some of those things.
Yeah, I mean it's all happening. I don't know how much influence like I've had on it, and I'm sure a lot of teams and stuff have got there on their own ways, but kind of there does seem to be like a paradigm shift kind of on like starting to happen right now, and it's exciting to see kind of where it's going to go.
Yeah, it's matriculating.
Yeah, it takes time. I think that's like the big thing is it definitely takes time.
The youth love it though. The kids are all about it. So
yeah,
it's only going to take a certain amount of time.
Well, it's way easier. Like, I just remember I was trying to coach a team at like middle school states and a stack is fucking dumb. Like go stand in the middle of the field. It's like,
put your hand
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's fucking stupid. Like I like this way more. Just like spread out, which we always say when kids normally start playing, which is like to spread out. So it's like spread out, try to get the ball and just like figure it out.
Yeah, move the disc quickly. That's it.
Yeah. And then there you go from there.